Today we'll be exploring how the nutrition transition has affected the resource footprint of China. The resource footprint refers to the sum of resources consumed by an organisation, including energy, carbon, water and land. China's water consumption in cities has increased 53.2% per capita since 1978. The nutrition transition refers to the shift from consumption of grains and traditional rural diets to one of more proteins and energy consumption. With such development and growth, there is an increasingly negative environmental impact, as seen on the Kuznets curve. We will also be assessing the environmental and social sustainability issues that the shift in diet has caused, specifically focusing on China, and exploring the relationship between development, diet, and health. We will also investigate the wealth deficit problem as a result of rapid economic growth.
Economic and social change in China linked to globalization processes has contributed to a change of diet as well as significant environmental and social issues. In SEZs along the East Coast, as a result of the 1971 open door policy, which opened up China to exchanges with the West, as well as rapid urbanization. Furthermore, global shift and China joining the World Trade Organization has contributed to the worsening resource footprint. These changes have resulted in middle class growth from 3.1% in 2000 to just over half in 2018. In effect, there is now more consumerism for water, electricity and food, especially fast food and processed meats, which massively contributes to the resource footprint. Urban residents have more disposable income and are able to afford more expensive foods such as pork and beef. This alters the diet from staple of carbohydrates, mainly being rice, and in turn the obesity rate has increased as there are now 100 million obese people in China. This is 5 times as many as in 2002.
Since the liberalisation of China's agricultural sector in the 1970s, the domestic consumption has increased eightfold as of 2016, as well as China's livestock population almost tripling between 1980 and 2010. The consumption of pork went from a luxury food to being a staple in the Chinese diet. China also surpassed Europe for the most pork consumption per capita in 2008 at around 35 kg per capita. China consumes 46% of the global total pork meat and 11% of the worldwide beef meat. Greenhouse gas emissions have rapidly increased alongside the growth of pork industry. The production of beef has spatial effects, as cows in northern China are heavier and so produce more methane than those in the south, as well as needing more energy and feed, meaning that in the north the footprint of production is much larger. Furthermore, these methane emissions pump more carbon into the global carbon cycle, which worsened the climate crisis. Between 1980 and 2010, the value of economic livestock production increased 56 times. Livestock and crop production separated. This majorly degraded soil health and also meant that in 2010, 79% of nitrogen from soil was put into the surrounding environments as ammonia and nitrogen gas. Rivers, lakes and air has been polluted by nutrients from animal manure, which reduces biodiversity and damages the environment.
China has undergone a wealth deficit problem. The rural poor are still consuming low nutrient foods such as grains, while those becoming obese are the educated urban middle classes. Indeed, the problem is fueled by the Chinese desire for academic achievement, which leaves children almost no time for physical exercise. Since June 2023, around 500 million internet users in China have used online food delivery services, representing 49.6% of people on the internet. Food is purchased on phones, which shows that increasing development in IT have made connections easier, which has made many lifestyles more sedentary, which makes this a contributing factor to obesity levels in young people. Between 2010 and 2020, the plastic uses for takeaway packaging grew by 3,359% to over 1 billion tonnes. High amounts of this goes to landfill, which are low managed, which pollutes the local environment. The overall resource footprint of China is complex and can be explained using the Kuznets curve. However, China is at different stages as it does not fit the Eurocentric framework of the curve. China built 95% of worldwide new coal power stations in 2023, which indicates being on the upward trend side of the curve, as burning such vast amounts of coal has huge environmental impacts. Locally, this is the loss of flora for concrete in factories, as well as adding huge amounts of carbon into the global carbon cycle, worsening the climate crisis. China added roughly 13 billion tonnes of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere in 2015. This increased pollution can worsen local health and lead to respiratory issues. Indeed, such areas are in the initial stages of nutrition transition, which may mean they have nutrition deficiencies due to diets quickly changing. On the other hand, if we look at Chongqing, there is a green initiative whereby the first batch of pilot parks include 59 green spaces, suggesting a rather low level of environmental degradation. As well as this, in the Chinese constitution it's written that China must include the concept of ecological civilization building, which again is aimed at reducing environmental degradation. Furthermore, with the improved built environment as well as the better diets, there is a potential for a reduction in diseases such as obesity and diabetes. This allows for a healthier population and better environmental quality.